Hey folks, this is Holly of Holly and Kristy Unscripted.
And Kristy of Holly and Kristy Unscripted.
This is our second episode, so thank you very much for joining us again. So today, we were talking actually just last night, and I asked you, Kristy, what we might want to talk about today, if we should have a particular topic or just go with it.
Right. So yeah, I had the idea to do discuss people that have influenced us, people that have had an impact on our lives. And I can't remember, there was something that I saw on social media that kind of perked my interest and made me think of that. So I mentioned that, and I thought maybe we should focus on something lighter, but you really like the idea. So
I really like the idea, because I think we could just talk about light things and certain light ways that people have impacted our lives, right? Yeah. Or, and also we could go a little deeper. So, because, you know, who knows what people want to hear about right now. Right. So we might as well just talk about whatever. But then you came in just now, and I figured, since it was your idea, that you would have all these people all ready to go. But we're both kind of like, well, who do you pick?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people impact us every day.
Yeah. And that's last night I was laying in bed kind of thinking about different people, and I was like, well, there's the typical people, like your mom and your dad and whatever. Yeah. And then I'm thinking about all these people that I know, that I follow, that I have in my life, and people that I might have met along the way. And I'm like, wow, anybody can have an impact on your life. And do you only focus on the people that have a major impact? But there's also the people that maybe you've met and knew for a month, but really had a subtle impact that kind of led to something else. And or one conversation you had with somebody, and they told you about something that you then started to investigate, and you never would have come across that thing if that person hadn't randomly said something to you in a store one day, right? Yeah. So there's I didn't know where to draw the line. Yeah. And I mean, I only thought about it for a little bit, and of course I thought mom and dad, because obviously, right? But then I thought about other people that I've had kind of long-standing relationships with, and I don't know if I want to talk about that. Well, there's that too. You know? Because I mean, some of those things are really really heavy. Right. Or then actually just now, I just stepped out of my office for a second. I ran home, and it's snowy and the sidewalks are kind of covered, and there was a woman coming along in an electric wheelchair, and so I kind of ran. We were coming towards each other, and I ran a little bit so that I could get to the part where I would be out of her way without stepping into the snowbank. And as I was doing it, there was a great big chunk of ice right in the middle of where she was headed. So as I'm hopping along, I kicked that thing out of the way and then kept going. And I just thought, for that brief moment, she had an impact on me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that actually is kind of a deep impact, because it made me feel really good about being conscious of that moment, and that I wanted to, wasn't that I was looking to do something nice for somebody, but it was sort of that moment. And that you feel good after you do a simple little thing like that. I know. Yeah. So all these little things have a big impact. So what's impacted you today? Today? Yeah, let's start there. Not much. No, I'm just coming off of this sickness. I know on the last episode, I talked about how I was anxious and how being sick makes me feel anxious. And I had started to feel better. And then Wednesday, I was still not great. And Thursday, I just hit a nosedive. I developed a sinus infection, and it just kind of made me completely down and out. They're awful. Oh, it was horrible, and that led to having pink eye. Fun. Which is even better. So all weekend I was just laid up and feeling miserable. You sound good, though. Did you get something for the sinus infection? No, I waited it out. Wow. I just kind of had a feeling that it wasn't too severe. Yeah, and Friday, everybody was saying, "Oh, you should see a doctor. You should whatever," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to," because really. Now that the after hours clinic is closed, there's nowhere to really go other than the hospital. And I don't want to go up to the hospital and spend 3 or 4 hours waiting up there when somebody else who needs something more than I do could have that spot.
Yep, for sure.
And really, I don't want to spend 5 hours up there.
That's weird.
So I was like, no, because I felt awful, and I didn't want to be up there for that long. And really to have the possibility of them say it's just a viral infection, so there's nothing you can do anyway. So I was like, all right, if Saturday I don't feel any better, like even just a little bit, then I will go and see if there's something that can be done. But Saturday I actually woke up and I had energy and I felt good.
Yeah.
And then I did all the things and then I felt awful again. But I was like, at least I have that little bit of hope that I'm getting better. So
that's good.
Yeah. So it's slow, but I'm still kind of just kind of making
Autumn
it through.
came home with a little cold last week, and so now I've got that. It's not going to be a sinus infection. Knock on wood. It won't go to that. I've had a couple of bad sinus infections in the last couple of years. I never really got them before, but I've had a couple that just really knocked me down. So anyways, that's not going to happen. But if you hear me sniffling, listeners, that's why, or clearing my throat, bear with me.
We're not very healthy right now.
Happy New Year.
It's this time of year, every year. Yeah. And I truly believe that Christmas has a big effect on how the next month or so goes, because if you're eating the sugar, and I know we kind of touched on this last time,
you deplete your system, and
because it totally affects your immune system, and
and then you're coming down off the sugar,
right? So then you're withdrawing, and everybody gets sick. And I know this week last year I had bronchitis.
Oh, did you?
And I had to go on meds for that, and everybody at work was out too. Like there was a day when Denise thought we had to close headquarters because there was nobody working. But every year. Anyway.
Yeah. So how do we get to that? What's impacted you today?
What impacted me today?
That you're feeling good.
Yeah. So today was just like getting work done. I didn't really concentrate on anything else.
Right. You were talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, that can have a big impact. The nobody factor can have a great impact too. That's good, actually. Sometimes it's awful. Okay, so let's see. Who has impacted me? Well, okay, so today, earlier today, I did another recording for the CFTA radio show, ARC's Business Boost, that's going to air this Saturday at 1 p.m. on CFTA radio in Amherst. And today I talked with Deanne Fitzpatrick.
Oh, good.
And she's great to talk to anyways. And she has had an impact on me. So she's fresh in my mind anyways, but I'll talk about her impact on my life. I've known her for a long time because I grew up just down the hill from where her house is, where her family lives, where she has raised her family. And so I've known her for quite a long time, not well, but then I worked for her a few years ago when I first moved back to Amherst, about 4 years ago, at her clothing shop, 30 Church. And actually, so I do have some background in advertising and marketing and stuff like that. Like years ago, I went to school for some of that stuff and have done little bits and pieces along the way. But while I was with Deanne, that's probably where the social media element of my professional expression started, because I was selling there, of course, selling clothes, but also I was doing a lot of the Facebook posts and things like that. So it was actually through a lot of the work that I was doing for her that I kind of gained some comfort in terms of social media. Like I like the camera anyways. My BA was in acting and stuff. So I'm into that kind of thing anyways. It's my personality, but I had never really done that kind of thing for Facebook or for in the online marketing realm anyways, because back when I did marketing, there was internet. but we weren't using Facebook much in that program. I'm not that much of a dinosaur. Well, that sounds awful. I should probably cut that piece out, because there are lots of people who market who were marketing before Facebook, and they're not dinosaurs. Anyways, so Deanne has impacted my professional life quite a bit, and also a lot of other things were going on in my life at that point. And she was a support during that, because that's when it was while I was working for her that it was on the tail end of my work with her that I first got diagnosed with bipolar and started to make all that kind of transition in my life. So, and she was someone I was able to talk to about all that, and supported me in terms of like being able to work and miss time when I needed to and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so she actually was quite supportive and had quite an impact, and has had an impact on our community too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. To the point that I don't even think she knows. She's a pretty humble person.
She is.
Yeah.
I don't know her personally that well. Like, I know who she is, and I mean, you see her around town, and but to like at the library, Denise and Chantel are heavily involved in the Fiber Art Committee and the Fiber Art Festival that happens every October. Yeah. So through that, I've kind of gotten to know who she is more. Mm-hmm. I knew who she was before, but I know her more now through them. Yeah. But to hear about people flying here from countries far away because they know about her crafts and just like to have someone in Amherst who has that much influence is huge.
It is huge.
And she stayed here, and her husband's here. Well, I don't know if they're married.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they've both been here forever and choose to stay here and choose to build this community up. And
she came here, I think I'm not sure how old she was when her family moved here, but she's from Newfoundland originally.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and she went to school at Acadia, but I'm pretty sure they moved here when she was in high school or something like that. Anyways, but yeah, no, she's had a huge impact on the community. It's pretty cool. And it's neat too, like if you listen to the show on Saturday, I guess when people are listening to this, Saturday will be tomorrow. But she talks about how, like I asked her how she started out and stuff, and she kind of emerged as an artist. She just sort of rug hooked for fun, but like it's a total art form what she does, right? So which is really neat, I think, because for someone in my shoes, all of this is happening fairly organically, and I know that I don't yet know what path or direction our social media is really going to take, or what exactly, like where it's headed. I can feel that it's headed somewhere cool, but I'm not sure what it is yet. Right. And so it's neat to see somebody else who kind of, whose brand and persona and career and passion have followed a pretty organic stream, so.
And I find that cool. That's kind of a common denominator with successful people. Because like I'm on Instagram and I see people who are trying to be influencers,
right? Who
have these, they're called like a follow loop or mama train or whatever. And what they do is there's one profile set up that is meant only to be kind of like a catalyst for people who want to gain followers.
Right.
So they have a list of people, say 60 people or profiles that they are following. And you have to follow everybody that they're following. Right. And those people will follow you back. Right. And then you hope to gain more followers through that. And so it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they're trying to boost their following through this. Yeah. But the real people who are making an impact, the real people who are have genuine businesses, everything happens organically. Yeah. And it could take 10 years. It might only take 2 years. But if you're good at what you do, and you're a genuine person and you actually have something that's relevant and important to say or do, people will find you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's someone recommended someone to follow the other day, and so I looked up this person
this professional. He's like a billionaire, I'm sure, and he's a sales professional, and he like